So, hello everybody. Hope you guys are doing absolutely amazing. It is a very humid day here in Central Florida. So it's kind of cool. We had some really good rain come through this morning, last night. And anyway, I'm out here checking on things and moving stuff. And yeah, you already know what these are. And if you are interested in getting one, the information's down below for you. This is probably one of the more rare Dioscorea species that you can't find, but it really should be a much larger crop because it's one of the better yams that is almost a dead-on substitute for actual potatoes. Not only for the flavor, but for the size and the skin texture, everything. It is, side by side, almost dead on for your standard potato. And when it comes to yams, some of them can be very vigorous, Some of the elatas, like the purple ubi and whatnot, they get monster roots on them. 30, 40, 50 pounds of food. But you also have that matched with the growth. You know what I'm saying? You get 40 pounds of roots underground, you get a beast above ground that's going to eat a tree just to, they can be pretty tame. You can tame them on a trellis, but, very vigorous. They take up a spot. But for the food they produce, it's not bad. But anyway, these yams, the Esculenta, are very, very tame. They're very small vines for the amount of roots they can produce. They're very tame. They're not monsters. You can stick them on a small trellis. You can put them in large pots, no problem. And they're just overall very calm and mute compared to some other yam varieties. But the flavor is definitely there, and the yield's there, and they're super easy to grow. Stick them in the ground, stick them in a pot. They are somewhat day length sensitive, so you can pretty much grow them almost anywhere in the country, if not on the ground, like I said, in pots. So as soon as the days start getting shorter, they start to really put the starch into the tubers. So, they're ready to harvest October-ish, which most people can easily do them in October, before they get too cold. And they're good right down to freezing, so you don't have to worry about that. And that picture I have is the thumbnail. Those are what you get, potato size roots with skin that's comparable to potatoes, so you can cook them with the skin on or peel them. You can roast them whole, boil them whole, saute them, whatever your heart desires. And they're very ornamental, of course. They get those beautiful heart-shaped leaves. And yeah, I normally grow quite a bit of these because instead of growing potatoes, we grow yams here. But I almost lost these last year. I grow a trellis length of them. That normally gives me about 300 pounds to eat, to store, to do whatever, and that lasts months, of course, Unfortunately, we were really dry this winter and this spring, and I had not harvested them yet. And it's just been the past few years we have had a huge problem, which I've never really had before, with fire ants. They are eating all of my starchy, tuberous, rhizomous crops when we're dry. And I've talked to other people, this normally isn't an issue, but it seems the fire ants in my area have learned that, hey, when it's dry, or maybe other people just are as dry, I don't know, that they can get their moisture and starch from my banana corms and from my yams. So these past few years, when we're having these really dry starts to the year, or really dry winters, I am having a huge issue with fire ants eating my banana and my yams. They're hollowing them out literally to get to the moisture. And you say, well, why don't you just spray? Why don't you put poison down? Well, it's not that easy. Some of these nests, are coming from other people's yards, other properties, and fire ant nests get pretty large, and so they're just coming, and you don't even really know they're there until the plant starts dying. And I have had a huge issue with that. Really, really bad problem. And unfortunately, they did it to my potato yams. And I have actually almost lost these, which is a real shame because I will never likely get them again. They're extremely rare here in the U.S., which, again, like I said in the beginning of the video, is a shame because they're great eating. And even if people don't want to eat yam from the store because it has a slightly different flavor than an actual potato, these guys are really spot on for actual potatoes. But anyway, I literally just this year I've only planted out maybe 20 plants. That's it. And they're little starts like this from little tubers that I had to split to make sure I had some because I lost my entire crop to fire ant damage, which is a real shame. But if you guys are interested in growing this awesome yam, super easy to grow, super productive, very much like an actual potato, check out my info below and get hold of me. I won't keep this video up long because I've only got a few. And yeah, once you get them, don't let the fire ants eat them, and you'll have them forever, right? Unlike actual potatoes, of course, yams are super easy to grow. They normally don't have any pest, and fire ants are a really, really novel pest for yams. Very, very novel. But yeah, there's nothing that really bothers them. Any of the Dioscorea species, the true yams, and these guys are there too. And unlike other yams, what makes these so special is they actually grow multiple tubers per plant instead of just one. Where most yams will grow one single huge root, these potato yams will grow anywhere from 5 to 40, depending on how happy they are. Give them some good soil, give them a bit of water when they're dry, and they will produce dozens of extra large size eggs, some actual small potato size, small potato, I'm talking about, good sized red potato. Those are pretty large, you know what I mean? They're not small, really. And you can get dozens of those per plant. So that's what makes this variety so interesting. Multiple tubers, just like a potato, taste just like a potato, except they are so much easier to grow than potatoes. So there you guys go. Thank you for watching. And yeah, if you want one, you get a little start like this, put it in a larger pot, and to give you something to climb. And then just save your tubers and regrow them every year, and you can get amazing yields off of these, and so much easier to grow than potatoes. No diseases. They don't mind the wet. They don't mind the heat. They can even take it a little bit dry, where go ahead and try doing that with a potato. And not to mention, they store so much better than potatoes, All yams have that dormancy clock in them, where literally they go between 3 and 6 months where they will not grow. And then that clock is up and they grow. Potatoes, on the other hand, you stick them, they get a little bit warm, they start sprouting all over the place, they rot. Not so with yams. So, pretty cool, alright? Alright, love you guys. Check out that info below, and grow some potato yams. See you later. Love you. Grab YouTube videos. I'm doing it. Beautiful plants. Very ornamental. Not just easy to grow.